Today, okay, so let's see. One question that came up. My CCW application is over 90 days past my appointment. What's the holdup? So that comes up fairly often, and it's starting to come up more often. Basically, once you get your appointment, you should get your approval within 90 days. And for a long time, it was 90 days, like right on the dot.
Yes.
89 days, 90 days, boom, you got your approval.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing more and more it get past 90 days before you get your approval. So this is, again, you've put in your application, you've gone to your appointment, they've made sure you got all your ducks in a row, but you haven't gotten your approval letter yet. And again, it's supposed to be about 90 days. So this isn't the sheriff's office. This isn't licensing that's holding this up. This is the California DOJ. Your fingerprints make a stop in Sacramento at the California DOJ's licensing. I'm not even sure what their little division's called, but their department that actually checks fingerprints. And they're not just checking fingerprints for CCW folks. They're checking fingerprints for, newly hired cops and stuff like that. Well, they're way understaffed. And guess how motivated Sacramento is to staff up that section of, CCW people are having to wait. Guess how motivated Sacramento is to help out gun owners? They're not motivated at all. And more people than ever in California are getting their CCW. More people in San Diego, more people in Riverside, more people in Orange. And now even cities and counties like LA, more people in California are getting their CCWs than ever before. Meanwhile, they haven't staffed to keep up with the demand. So what can you do? Well, I'm bringing this to the attention of some state elected folks, but right now, unfortunately, there's just not a lot you can do. You can email them and just kind of say, hey, just checking on a status. Again, I wouldn't call them. I would email them. They're much better suited to handle email than they are phone calls. But unfortunately, I don't have that's the best I can offer you right now. We're going to continue to work on it. The other thing is the Trump administration is actually working on it as well. They've actually talked about it. Harmeet Dillon, who's in the Civil Rights Division, who's talked about the Second Amendment. She's from California. She's talked about how, hey, this holdup is not okay. So,
and just to mention, like other states, their state agencies take like 1 to 5 days to return these, or like 2 to 7 days. So like this is bad.
It's doable. Well, it's doable too. It's
The California Department of Justice could get it together and could return these faster. I thought there was actually something where it was required by law to be within the 90 days. Is that not the case? Was that just kind of the rule of thumb?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. I haven't heard that that's actually like in the penal code or anything like that.
An agreement between. You would think like if an agency is going to say, hey, we're going to take on this role, we're going to do all of the background checks for this particular thing, that they would have to be held to some sort of like realistic limit of time that they have to do that.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
You would think.
But again, we've talked about the Trump administration. I'm actually very happy with some of the comments from, again, Harmeet Dillon, who's from California. She's an attorney. She's in the Civil Rights Division and has basically said, hey, this is a civil right, and nobody in Washington, D.C. has cared about your Second Amendment, and we do. So hopefully she'll fill that. Did I tell you the story of when I met Harmeet? So years ago, but way before San Diego County Gun Owners, I gave a talk in front of the San Diego County Republican Party about the Second Amendment. I was just starting to do some activism, and the Republican Party was, kind of said, yeah, well, help us with some of our pro-Second Amendment candidates. And so they let me give a little talk and talked all about the Second Amendment. And this guy, Ken Stone, wrote a hit piece on me. He's a far-left journalist out in East County. And he wrote this horrible hit piece on me, which was a lot of fun. But the other thing that happened that night is there was a new chair to the state Republican Party, and her name was, or I think she was actually second. She wasn't the chair. I think she was like second chair, vice chair. And she, it's Harmeet Dillon, and she went on right after me, and she talked all about the Second Amendment and how she came from a family of immigrants, and that they moved into the South, and there was a little bit of prejudice, if I remember correctly. I think it was one of the Carolinas that she moved to, and The Second Amendment, they lived it. It became real important to them for protection. So I was really happy about that. So she's the real deal, and I look forward to her success. So
I'd like to really quick give a little bit of a piece of information that I just discovered.
Yep.
So as you guys were talking about the 90 days, I was doing some research. I pulled it from Michelle and Associates.
Yes.
Law firm.
Yes.
Right? They state that the issuing authority has up to 90 days from the individual turning in the application, right when they run your prints and accept your application, and then an additional 30 days to notify you once the sheriff or police department receives the background check results from the DOJ.
And
so they have 90 days to run it, and then they have 30 days to notify you.
But it doesn't sound like that's a requirement to the DOJ, right? That's just the issuing agency only has that much time.
The issuing here's the verbiage they have. The issuing authority has up to 90 days from the individual turning in the application and 30 days after the sheriff or police chief receives the background check results from the DOJ, whichever is later.
Interesting.
There you go.
So I wonder if our sheriff's department, I'm sure we don't know this information, but I wonder if they're turning it in day one of the application, the same day the fingerprints are being taken. Is it being sent to the DOJ or is it being sent on day 70 or day 30? Where in that 90 days is our sheriff's department actually sending it to the DOJ?
Good question. My understanding is like the day after your appointment. Like
okay.
your appointment, you go in, you get your fingerprints.
And it's right away.
And then
Good.
like I don't know if it's immediately that day, but like the next day they get your package put together and boom, the whole thing gets submitted to the California DOJ.
So then it is just the DOJ holding it all up from there.
And that's the feedback I keep getting.
Yeah.
I know that not just from our department, but from other sheriff's departments, they're saying, hey, we'd like to do it much sooner, much quicker.
Right.
But California DOJ is holding up the show. So I'll update you guys. Like I said, I actually have a couple of appointments to talk to some state folks to figure out what we can do to get this wrangled. It's such a tough situation. There's so little leverage that we have because there are so many people in Sacramento that absolutely hate the fact that you get to have a CCW and that you own a gun. Hey, thanks for watching Gun Owners Radio. I hope you loved that clip. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and follow us on social media, and check out our website at gunownersradio.com.